Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm not sure if it's morning or afternoon for you, but regardless, we appreciate you taking time. I'm Kate from Opsgenie, and I'm joined here by Andreas Grabner from Dynatrace and John Meyer from Opsgenie. They're going to take us through a full demo of how you can get the most out of Opsgenie, Atlassian, and Dynatrace today. And with that, we're going to get started.
All right. Can you all see the screen?
I can, yeah. It still shows the top, control panels. Didn't go to full screen.
Okay, one moment. I'm in full screen right now.
Otherwise, I think we can also work with this size. It looks big enough.
Yes, we can just work out of this here because whenever I go full screen, it actually pauses the screen share.
Wouldn't it be great if technology would, for once, work?
That would be phenomenal. But we can go ahead and get started. Again, my name is John Meyer. I'm from Atlassian, working with the Opsgenie team. And today we're going to be walking through how to integrate Opsgenie, Atlassian, and some other tools with Dynatrace. So first of all, why would you use Opsgenie for your incident management needs? Opsgenie offers very deep integrations with tools like Dynatrace, Jira, Slack, etc. So we can integrate with your IT stack, and many of these integrations are bidirectional, meaning we can pass data back and forth between these tools to keep everything in sync with one another. We also offer great flexibility within our integrations as well. So this allows you to aggregate alerts, pull out specific pieces of data from these alerts, and then route those alerts to the correct teams based on that data that you're parsing out. We also have the ability to enrich alert data. So you can actually run custom scripts when an action is taken in Opsgenie and have those scripts add additional contextual awareness to the Opsgenie alert to enrich the data so that when the responders are receiving the alerts, they have all the data available to them. And then we also offer superior reporting. We offer full insight and analytics into the alerts and incidents you're receiving, so you can see which teams are receiving the most alerts, where your pain points are, etc.
Cool. Well, thanks, John. For those people that don't know me, I am Andy Grabner, working for Dynatrace as a global technology leader for our strategic partners like Opsgenie and Atlassian. Been with the company for about 11 years and also saw our transformation. And John, I mean, what you just saw or explained, why people are using Opsgenie. I think tools like Opsgenie are just necessary in today's world where we need to react faster to any type of issues and have the right people working on problems or whatever it is in a coordinated and in a fast way. So now why Dynatrace, right? Why not any other monitoring tool that is out there? I put three things up there. First of all, full stack, meaning we are not only focusing our monitoring on traditional APM, application performance monitoring, but is full stack monitoring. We go beyond APM. That means we monitor your hosts, your processes, your containers, your services, your end users, and your logs and your network. And all of this happens with a single agent that you need to install. This works both on-premise, also in the cloud, and also for your PaaS providers or PaaS platforms, whether it's Kubernetes, OpenShift, Cloud Foundry, or whatever else is out there. Everything is fully automated. I think, John, we both agree that automation is key, and automation is also what actually enables our integration. So first of all, Dynatrace can be set up zero-touch configuration. That means just install the one agent. Most importantly, we automatically discover the complete environment. We also do automatic root cause detection, and we make this data available to tools such as Opsgenie, right? Giving the right information to the right people so that they can act faster. And John, I actually just like what you said earlier with the you can enrich data, so you can create these scripts, right? And people will see later on when they see Dynatrace how we can use the Dynatrace automation API to pull in even more data into Opsgenie. Last but not least, AI powered, we have a deterministic causation-based AI engine that is looking at all the data and is when there is a real problem impacting your end users, is telling you exactly where the problem started, how it trickled through your architecture, and most importantly, what next to do. And that could be obviously, triggering an Opsgenie ticket and get the right people in place. All right, next slide.
Yep. So why would somebody use Opsgenie and Dynatrace together? The two tools, they work in harmony, and one of the main reasons to use both in conjunction with one another is to reduce the mean time to respond to these incidents. So since Dynatrace has the root cause information for that specific incident, we can actually target the specific user in Opsgenie to fix that specific issue instead of just routing it to a generic team, going through an escalation. Because we have that root cause information, we can better route those alerts to Opsgenie and give that user actionable alert data so that they can take action as quick as possible.
And I think we'll also see this later in the demo. We are passing context information like which application is it, which tier, which environment. This is all tag-based in Dynatrace, and all these tags will also show up on the Opsgenie side. Now, the second point, just quickly, further reduce alert noise. I think I mentioned this earlier with our deterministic AI engine, which we call Davis. So in case you wonder what is Dynatrace Davis, Dynatrace Davis is our AI, and it is automatically understanding problems, and it is correlating all the events that Dynatrace sees in your complete full stack environment to this single problem. So instead of sending you many different alerts on, let's say, high CPU, problematic log message, end users are impacted, maybe containers that are constantly recycling for no good reason, instead of giving you a lot of different alerts, we give you a single alert, a single problem into Opsgenie with all the root cause information. So that's why Dynatrace and Opsgenie together, as John said, reducing MTTR, and most importantly, we don't overwhelm it with too much alert noise.
Yep. And here's an example of a modern IT environment. You have your dev stack with a number of different tools, and you have Dynatrace in this specific example doing the monitoring. And as Andy just pointed out, Dynatrace, they're able to correlate all those events into a single problem ticket and then send that to Opsgenie. And then from there, Opsgenie is able to create a Jira issue, update status page, post to Slack, post to Confluence. So Dynatrace and Opsgenie can work together to keep all those other tools in sync, as well as notify those responder users to reduce the mean time to respond to these incidents. All right, and then now from here, I would like to jump into a demo that we recorded.
Cool. Let's see. So we recorded a video, and now we'll try to voice over it because we optimized it, so to make sure we have also enough time later on for Q&A. So by the way, if you have questions, put them in. So the way we did the demo, so what you see here is a Dynatrace environment, and in case you want to do this yourself, I actually, when I set up my Dynatrace environment, I used the sample installation of Captain, which is an open source framework for deploying containers on Kubernetes and automating the complete delivery pipeline. So you can go to captain.sh, and then you can see the setup instructions for the GKE or AWS EKS. So that's basically what I've installed. Just you can do it yourself. So basically what we have is a sample app that runs on multiple different environments. So you can see it, Dynatrace automatically picks up the environments. In this case, the namespaces. I focus on production here. And there's also the option to then focus on a service. So the problem that we are going to show and simulate today is against the cards application, or it's a shopping cart that actually has an API, and I run a very simple load test. So the little black screen that you see here is a very simple load test that runs in the back end to simulate some load. Now, what I also have prepared is a classical scenario where we can enable a feature flag on that shopping cart. And in my case, it's a feature flag that, let's say, a marketing team could, for instance, say, enable. What I just did here is enable the feature flag for 30% of the users. So 30% of the users will see a different shopping cart experience. And as you can see in the back end, the load test already shows a different output, because we'll be also simulated in this problem that this feature flag actually has issues. So now 30% of people are actually retrieving an error when they're trying to access the shopping cart API. Again, simulated traffic and simulated switching the the feature flag on, but this is a very common scenario, John, right? Where people are turning on feature flags because of marketing campaigns. And now the hope is Dynatrace detects the problem and then sends an event to Opsgenie. So now here we are in Opsgenie, and let's see how long it takes until the problem actually pops up. Here we go. Dynatrace detected a failure rate increase, and it occurred on a service. Now I think what you also see is the description, obviously, but also the tags. It says environment application sock shop. It says the service name and also the environment that it's production. Then we can click on it. We get to see all the details that are automatically sent over from Dynatrace, like the detailed failure description, failure rate increase on web service items controller. That's great. It's a service. The problem status is currently open. That also makes sense. And we also have the link back to the Dynatrace problem ticket, as you can see here. So if I would click on it, I will get directly into the Dynatrace problem, right? So I think that's that's kind of the initial thing what we see in Dynatrace. Let's see. What else can we do, John? I think what else did we do here? I think right, Slack channel integration. What about this here?
Yep. So when that alert was triggered, we had a rule within Opsgenie that created the alert in Slack. So you actually don't need to work out of the Opsgenie console if you don't wish to. You can post your alerts and instance to Slack and then take action from here. So we have built-in buttons, as you can see, to take action, acknowledge, close, add note, etc. But we also have a pretty cool Genie bot that we built as well, which allows you to see who's on call. You can assign the alert to a specific team. You can list alerts. So there's tons of different things you can do with our Slack integration from here. So again, the /Genie help command will show you all the different available actions, but here is where you can actually take action on the alert itself. And then when action is taken, that is propagated back to Opsgenie, as well as propagated back to any other tools that you're currently working out of. So say if it, yep. So if a Jira issue was created for this, then from there, that would be passed back to Jira, passed back to any other tools that were created for this, or any other alerts or issues that were created for this.
Yeah. So that means if you click on acknowledge here, for instance, it will go over to Jira and send it like it just did. You clicked on acknowledge, and now we can actually go to Jira and see what happened in Jira.
Yep. So we have this DGC project that we set up, and we have a rule that says if we get any alerts from Dynatrace, then post to this specific project here. So as you can see, we created the issue for this specific alert from Dynatrace, and the status is set to in progress because we acknowledged that alert. So we actually have a rule that says if the Opsgenie alert is acknowledged, update the Jira issue and set it to in progress.
That's pretty cool. And so obviously we always have the links back to, so obviously from Jira we have to link back to Opsgenie, from Slack we have to link back to the Opsgenie ticket, and then from here we always have to link back to the Dynatrace problem, because essentially what we wanted to improve is MTTR. So we showed just how we push all the information to Opsgenie, to Jira, all the right people are notified, and now where we are is actually in Dynatrace. So we want to see what's actually happening. We see that there's the Dynatrace detected the business impact. Now remember, this is an API-based cart, so that's why only API calls are impacted, 34,700, no real end users. But we see that the items controller here is impacted with a high failure rate. But more importantly, on the right side, you see what is the root cause. And the root cause was immediately detected by Dynatrace because of that configuration change that I did earlier with the script, or that normally, let's say, a marketeer would do, right? Turning on a campaign. Like in this case, promotion percentage was changed to, let's say, I think 30%. That was the change we made earlier. And we see also a lot of other information, like the remediation action. Here it's a textual remediation. Disable promotion in case of an error. What we also see is who approved it. Andreas Grabner, that's my name. It's all there. And this is obviously great information to figure out, okay, what to do next. Now, I got the ticket. I got the information who did it and what to do next. And so now I can turn off this feature flag because I know it's a problem. So I want to remediate the issue and then wait until the problem is gone away, right? I think that's it. Yeah, Cool. So John, I think in terms of the integrations, we want to quickly show how we can set up the integration. So click on integrations. There's an integration called AppMon, which is our second generation monitoring product, APM. That's great if you have it. There's also Dynatrace, and then there's the Dynatrace Webhook. Dynatrace is nice. It's very easy and gets you straight hooked up. Personally, and I think John, do you agree with me? I favor the Webhook because it's a little more advanced.
Correct. Yes, the webhook integration allows you a bit more flexibility and the ability to customize the incoming payload. So we definitely recommend the webhook integration. It is again, the more advanced option, but allows you to really configure those fields in Opsgenie and configure what that looks like. So here, all you're seeing is what we call our simple mode, which is really just the bare bones minimum to get that webhook set up. And here's our advanced mode, where you can actually drag and drop certain fields within the Opsgenie alert message to configure what that actually looks like. And I think what we actually did for this specific alert here is we went ahead and added the HTML text to the notes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think it's really cool. So on the right side, this is the list of tags that Dynatrace pushed in, and then you can drag and drop. We did the tags, that's important. We also did for the notes, that was very cool because we have the, as you said, the problem details HTML. So Dynatrace is actually giving an HTML version of the problem description. And that is pretty sweet. Right. Exactly. Yep. Then we can save it. Yeah. And what's next? How do we get it over there? I think you get the link here. It's great. I mean, the instructions are really easy to follow. Also a link to the documentation. But essentially, you take that link. Then in Dynatrace, you go to Settings, Integration, Problem Notification. These are the two that I set up earlier because I said there's two versions of it, of the integration. Now I want to show you how a new is done. So click on Custom Integration. That's the advanced one that we are showing you. Give it a name. Let's say Opsgenie V2. Put in the URL. And then in the payload, this is where you can now, where you're free to add in any type of payload information that Dynatrace gives you as part of the problem context. So you can see on the bottom a list of available placeholders. So for instance, we could put in the problem severity. So it's JSON, and you guys understand JSON and parse it, and then all the fields become available, right? Send a test notification, that's great. Also, a good best practice is that the alerting profile, where you can say don't send every alert over to Dynatrace or every problem, but only those that fit a certain filter, like only the ones that happen in production on a particular app. So this is how easy it is. Now I'm just turning that off because I want to focus on the one we had created for the previous demo. So this is now the fully configured one, where we put in every single field, pretty much everything, every single field that Dynatrace provides. You see the problem URL, the details, it's all there, right? And it's that easy.
Yeah. And then once you put it in here again, you can pick and choose where that should be displayed in the Opsgenie alert by just dragging those fields on the right-hand side. And if for some reason one of those fields isn't available, then you can actually go ahead and just manually type in that field as well. So I think here we're going to take a look at one of the examples that came in, and I think we're going to take a look at the HTML-rich text that was sent over. So if you remember, we actually added that to the notes section of the alert. So we added the fields there, and then we added the HTML text to the notes. So maybe you want that HTML text in the description in an additional field. You can actually pick and choose where you want that displayed. And the HTML-rich text, it also includes an open in browser button to go back to Dynatrace as well.
That's pretty sweet. Cool. I think, John, that's pretty much the demo that we have prepared. I believe so, right? The video is also almost done. That's cool.
Yep. Let me switch back to the slides. All right, so now I think would be a good time to open it up for Q&A. We're also going to pop up a quick poll, if you could answer that very, very quickly.
We did have a question that came in while you were giving the demo.
Okay.
The question is, does Opsgenie have an integration to Mattermost or Rocket Chat?
We currently do have an integration to Mattermost, and I believe we're working on an integration to Rocket Chat.
Great, thank you. And for those of you who have questions, please feel free to use the question section on your control panel, and you may also use the chat box if you would prefer. Okay, I'm going to close the poll now. Most of you have answered.
All right. Kate, was that the only question that came in during the demo?
That's the only question that came in during the demo, yes.
All right.
Here's another question. So, of course, you covered this in the demo, but are there some edge use cases that you could discuss where integrating Opsgenie and Dynatrace might make sense?
I would say, I mean, I'm not sure if it's edge, but it's definitely on the edge when we talk to our customers in terms of what they want to do. I think what we just saw is the root cause detection and then pushing it over to Opsgenie. I think what we try to do in an industry is getting more information faster to the user or to the person that is then actually reacting on a ticket. And I think what we are trying to do, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, but what we really try to do is automating even the actions as much as possible. So we talk about auto remediation, we talk about self-healing. If something like that exists, I think auto remediation makes more sense. But with what I showed you earlier, where in the example it said the root cause was the promotion change and the remediation action just suggested to turn it off, right? That was a very simple example. Now to give you some other examples, what we are trying to teach and advocate for with our customers, with our joint customers here, is that whenever you have developers making code changes and deploying new versions into the environment, they should obviously write their code, they write their tests, but what we also suggest them to do is write remediation scripts. So actually say, here's a change, and in case something goes wrong, then I suggest to execute these steps. So for instance, if there is extremely high load, and that causes a CPU shortage and you have a high response time, let's scale up. If there is a problem with the canary, let's switch the traffic back. If there's a problem with, let's say, database connections to the backend that come in through a code change, then either switch back to the previous build or maybe increase the connection pool size, at least temporarily, right? So I think what we are advocating for is with every code and configuration change you push through the pipeline, you also try to figure out what would you do in case there's a problem. Write it down in an easy understandable form. The perfect thing would be a script that can then be presented to the person that actually receives the problem, and then it's easy for them to say, I'll pick this option or this option because Dynatrace tells me that this is the best thing to do.
And you can also go a step further with Opsgenie if you would like. With Opsgenie, you can execute custom scripts whenever some criteria is met. So you can actually say, if we get an alert from Dynatrace and it has the following properties, then execute the following auto remediation script automatically without human intervention. So you can actually have that automated as well on the Opsgenie side. And these scripts can live locally, they can live in AWS, so you have a few different options for running those auto remediation scripts.
Oh, that's perfect. Cool.
Great. We did get another question. Is there an integration into Freshservice like it does with Jira? I'm not sure if this question is for Opsgenie or for Dynatrace. I know that Opsgenie does have an integration with Freshservice, but I'm not sure. I've asked for a few more details. What you mean like it does with Jira?
I'm assuming they're asking about Opsgenie. So Opsgenie does have a similar integration with Freshservice, so you could go from Dynatrace to Opsgenie to Freshservice if you would like.
Okay, we just had another question come in. Could you give us some examples of best practices to use when creating different policies and escalations?
Sure. So the best practice would be to find some common property within all the alerts that you're receiving, and then use that property to properly route the escalations using routing rules. So whether it's the service from Dynatrace, some other field within the Dynatrace alert, you can actually say, if the Dynatrace alert has the following property in your routing rule, then use this escalation. Else, if it has another property, use this escalation else, if it doesn't match any of the rules, use our default escalation. So you can use Opsgenie's routing rules within your teams to key off of key elements in the Dynatrace alerts, and then route based off of that data.
Great, thanks. Give it another moment for questions. While we're waiting, we do have one more poll, and then I think that will be it. I think you guys have one more slide to share with some information on it. Okay, so feel free, this is your last chance for questions. You guys have had some great ones so far. Okay, so I'm gonna close the poll.
All right. So, yep. So as far as next steps, you can sign up for trials for both Dynatrace and Opsgenie if you're not using either one or both of the tools. Here are the links to sign up for both of those. And again, for any questions, feel free to reach out to Andy or myself, and we'd be happy to assist and answer any other questions that you may have after the webinar.
Okay, that's it. You guys did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time today.
See ya.
All right. Have a great day.